Alright, guys. We got the Magic Origins Fat Pack. I got one here. We're going to talk about first picks and the drafts, like what we would pick first, assuming we had multiple first picks. And then we'll build a sealed pool out of the stuff, too. And Brad has Magical Tea with us. Look at his Jace. I actually busted a Jace the other day. Right now. Now I got one open.
Bam.
It was my birthday. You guys saw that stream where I opened up a Jace because I'm a lucky man.
They didn't see that.
They did. It was on stream.
No, I'm just saying that they don't watch our stream, Daniel.
Some people do. 5 to 10 people watch that.
5 to 10 people.
Speaking of pack busting, we'll be talking more about it later. Me and Brad will be getting a box.
Crap ton of...
Battle for Zendikar.
a crap ton. Maybe a case.
We'll say. We'll see. A lot. We'll be opening it, talking about the cards, looking at the cards, and just being generally excited about the cards. And hey, if we're lucky, we'll get an expedition. Alright.
Oh, look.
We got a player's guide. It comes with things. Alright. I do like how these are containers. If you guys don't have
They used to
fat
come
packs,
with 2 containers.
they used to come with books too. But they come with like a lot of nice little
come
things.
with books, Daniel.
No. They used to come with the novels. They come with housing units if you want to build a little tiny house.
What is this for? A house for ants, Daniel? It needs to be at least 3 times.
I have terrible boxes. But you have a good box. The good box is the nice part. I like the good box. Anyway, let's get all this out of the way. I like how it comes with the dice too. This dice isn't as exciting as other ones.
Man,
But
how exciting will this be next time? Because we'll get to open a bunch of basic lands.
Oh yeah, so Brad's going to show us some lands real quick. And then we'll open packs one at a time and talk about
Here's a pack of lands. It is worth not the paper it's printed on.
Alright, Brad, you going to open our first pack for us?
I will, in fact,
All right,
open the
here
first pack.
We're going to start with the common. So turn it over so, well, either way works really. And
Turn it over for me or for them?
them. There we go. So we got Infectious Bloodlust. I would not start with that card.
Can we flip this camera around? That would be good.
Wait, let's just do one at a time.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about the picks as we go through them. Alright, so I would not be... Here, I'll hold it, and then you slide it. Here we go. Alright, Infectious Bloodlust. I'm not keen on that. It's nowhere near. Enshrouding Mist is a card. Let's set that in the separate pile. I would consider first picking that if in a weak pack. I would take the Eye of Blight Assassin over it. I would not take Negate. There we go. No Sheen now. That's a sideboard card. That's not a playable card in most decks. Llanowar Empath. Would you take that over that? I think I would. It's usually getting you another card. I think it's
okay.
better. We haven't gotten anything exciting. All right, here we go. Gearper gift card drafter. This is a first pick. There's not. I think it's the best red common or Consecrated by Blood's not good enough. All right, so this is an interesting pick. Before we look at the rare. Let's say that the rare's trash. The rare is actually going to be our pick, by the way. I think that the Priest of the Bloodright just giving you a 5/5 demon is better than either of these cards, even though black isn't there. But these two cards are very close. Now, Brad, would you go with the Consul's Lieutenant or the Gearper Gearcrafter?
Now, I would probably go with the red card here because the double white on your first pick is probably not something I want to do.
I agree. I think the Consul's Lieutenant is a more powerful card, but it's much more restrictive. And I don't think it's actually much better than the Gearcrafter. If the Gearcrafter wasn't here, it would be Consul's Lieutenant easily. All right. So that's pretty easy. Our first pick is Sweet Rare. But 2 other solid commons. That's actually the kind of pack I like to pass. Not that many strong cards in it. So what do we got for the next one? I'll put it up here, and Brad will slide them over. All right, that's disappointing. All right, we're still on disappointing.
It's not really liking the whole...
This is better, right?
Well, it's not focusing very well. If I move my hand a little bit... It's still focusing down here, which is the weirdest thing. There it goes.
All right, so we have our first card to pick. Separatist Void Mage. I would consider playing that. I think it's one of the best commons as well. I think it's better than
Some of these
Pricklebore.
are decent.
All right, we have Reeve Soul. I would take Reeve Soul over
pretty
Separatist
good.
Void Mage. And Reeve Soul. Now, Jesse
This
Thief
guy's good.
and Reeve Soul
Woo!
is an interesting thing. Okay, we're actually taking the Hangerback Walker.
Yeah, that.
But
guy's
let's
amazing.
assume that the Hangerback Walker's not here.
Not only
and
is
the
that-
foil Shadow of the Past.
Not only is that a money card, but it's also quite good in
That's
draft.
a great one. All right, so let's say that we have a pick here. This is an interesting pick. Now, I think that it's Reeve Soul, and it's not just because of the removal. The floor on Reeve Soul is higher. But I think one of the biggest things here is these cards are relatively close. Reef-Soul is slightly better, but I think black is actually a better color than blue. If these were the same goodness of cards, I would choose the black card. If these cards were reversed, and let's say Reef-Soul was somehow a 1-mana blue spell, one in blue that killed the creature, I would pick the Reef-Soul. I think that there's not that much. I think Reef-Soul is a significantly better card than Jesse and Thief, regardless of color.
So you're saying removal?
Well, it's not always the case. There are creatures that I would pick over that. You could make an argument in some cases to pick, like...
That's a pretty good couple of packs, by the way.
I would take Priest of the Bloodright over any removal in this whole set. Because it's a 5/5 for 5 with flying. I would take that over a lot of other stuff.
That's true.
So... Alright, let's go again. Brad just loves to see these cards at a time. He doesn't like the excitement of figuring out with us. Catacomb Slug. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Catacomb Slug. What are you focusing on?
Just give it a second. You have to give it a second.
I don't have any patience.
Nope, you don't. It does not like that. It's not like that whatsoever.
Maybe we're better off doing it down here. Is that easier to read, actually?
I mean, it might be if...
Whoa, what's going on? You guys, give us 1 second. Hey! Hey, Brad. That was super cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Subterranean Scout. I'm happy with this card. This isn't an exciting first pick, but this is the kind of card that I will have in my deck. You will always play all of these you get. Which I will not say the same for Automancer.
Nope, I was very disappointed.
Now, Disperse brings up the point where we're looking at cards. Because if it wasn't in blue, if blue was a better color, I would be more apt to pick Disperse maybe over Subterranean Scout. It is
Tempo play.
A strong tempo play. There's not many early plays that act in any way. There's a lot of strong auras, but I think it's close here. And that's weird because blue is just that much lower. Now, here we go. Now I have Separatist Void Mage. I will take that over Subterranean Scout. And I will take Suppression Bonds over both of these cards.
Yep.
So, and I will take Whirler Rogue. This is one of the few cards that will put me staunchly into blue. It is unlikely we'll see a better card than Whirler Rogue. Conclave Naturalist is one of the best green uncommons. It's not even close to Whirler Rogue.
Another.
Whew, this is a spicy pack. All right, and this is another example. Exquisite Firecraft is a good removal spell.
Exquisite? Yes.
Exquisite Firecraft. I think I'd take Whirler Rogue over it. I think that there's some amount of no, I think that Whirler Rogue's not as good as the 5-mana black card that we had before.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
But there's not too many cards that I'm really going to pick over this. Hey, we've got a fancy token. A legendary creature token.
But what is that made from?
It's from Nissa.
Oh, that's the Nissa token. Okay. All right, let's open another pack here.
Man, this is pack busting hours. Guys, if you guys have any questions about how we're making the decisions or where we're coming from it, we've talked before about how power level of cards is figured out. And, yep. Brad's going to go through these this time. So we haven't seen a first pick yet. Night Snare,
No.
Aven Battle Piercer, no.
Nope.
So we're at Automancer.
Nope. This guy's actually pretty good. Though, if you've noticed, the set kind of shook out so that he's a lot worse than he would normally be. Because a 5/6 is very hard to kill, but you'll probably never get to that many mana in this set.
He doesn't have
It's
Trample, too.
unfortunate.
You usually get double.
Sometimes you take one of these.
All right, we're at Unholy Hunger. So let's go ahead and set this aside. Wow, this is interesting. We have Topin for lead. Wow, this is just
Wow,
a
look at this
series
pack.
of +1s. All right, this is the first card
So these are all decent right here.
where we have a card that's Brad, stop.
The camera's in a very weird place, let me tell you.
Erois' Champion is a card we're not going to take over these cards, and even though it's better power level wise than a lot of other creatures, the 2 colors is too high. Even if it's 2 colors we'd like to be in. Okay. All right, now then. This is
upside down for us, so that's why we're having to
It's not
work
so
so
bad for me.
crazy.
All right, Summerboard Alpha is another good card, but I don't think it's in the league with these other cards. The power level is a lot higher than something like a Tobin Freeblade, but the floor is so
The
much
Starfish was so much better last time because it was in such a good color.
Yeah, it was also a common too. All right, Guy's Revenge is also not the common. I don't want to start with a 7-drop in this format. All right,
That's a good point.
so what I really think this comes down to is Claustrophobia versus Token Free
So
Play.
now we've gotten a lot of blue cards so far. So if we're building a sealed pool, we might actually start wanting to look at blue.
We will when we get the sealed pool.
White's looking pretty solid too.
Let's say that this
cards
is your
I've
first
seen.
pick, first pack. Which of these two cards do you think you're taking?
So I'm probably taking the white one simply because the blue I know is kind of weak in the set. However, I do think this is a better card.
I agree. And
Now,
I
a 2/2 for 2 with Vigilance and Renown has crushed many an opponent.
it's true.
I have crushed many an opponent. With
Claustrophobia answers that unconditionally. I will say the one thing that's going
Claustrophobia answers so many things in this
it answers everything in this set.
set. So,
But if it was 2 colors and a blue, I would pick the Claustrophobia. At double blue, I'm not sure if I want to commit to a color that only supports 1 or 2 drafters, even for a strong card like that.
well, so like I said, if it were a strong set, you'd probably take that. If blue was strong in the set.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that would be our pick. All right, next pack.
And that has to do with specifically how much you have to commit to a double blue card. It's not very splashable.
All right, we don't need to talk about that. I don't think we need to talk about that.
Let's move this up a little bit so they can see. And then we'll just move these cards off screen.
Nope. I don't even remember this.
That's our best
does.
card so far.
This one's all right.
I'm picking over Vastwood Gorger too.
Yep.
All right, we have a good card.
This is okay.
That's a good. I'm happy with that pick. Leaf Gilder is a powerful card. It trades well. I think I pick Leaf Gilder over Ringwood Orden
So-
myself.
In a different set, this would be much more powerful, but the set's too
Too
fast.
The 2 mana.
This one's okay, not great.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't usually take 1/1s.
For 1, they just don't do enough.
I don't know what this does, but you're probably not taking it.
It's more mana. I'm not taking.
Renown Vigilance. You usually don't take a 2-color drop as your first pick. However, very strong card.
Now, this is an interesting point where me and Brad. Okay, so we've got 3 cards. I don't think that.
Well, we got 4. You don't think you like this one, do you?
I would pick the Leaf
one.
Gilder over that.
So, as a 3-drop, this is pretty weak in this current set. But if you do get it to Renown, you get not only the card, but it becomes almost unstoppable.
Right. So we have 4 cards here, and they have different points at which they're good in the game. And the reason I'm probably going with Leaf Gilder is that it's most consistently good.
I will agree with that, but it's ramping you into what? This set doesn't have very many good
It trades with
targets
most
around.
things too. It trades with your token free
Now,
blades.
I, in this set, would take our green 1/3 here.
the higher floor, higher ceiling, or sorry, lower floor, higher ceiling card.
Yeah.
Much more powerful when it
Now,
works.
both of these cards are strong if we're building our sealed pool because that's quite a few blue cards.
Oh yeah.
And also, this is a very good blue card. So
Yeah. When we go
we're
into a
actually
sealed
leaning towards blue for assembling a sealed pool, even though
Yeah, we'll talk more about the seal pool when we really have it in front of us. It's also going to be a giant seal pool. How many packs have we busted? How many?
oh right, so we're way past.
We're going
the
to seal
6
this.
packs,
No,
so-
this is the 6th.
All right, so let me not spoil it. Another one of these guys. So is this the one that can't be blocked except by
Yeah, it's essentially flying.
creatures flying?
I will
reach?
take that. That
Yeah,
is
that's
a
okay.
good card.
So this one is sometimes used.
That's a good
once
card.
again, blue's not very good. Yeah, let's keep that one on the table. 3/2 with flying. That's
Yeah,
not terrible.
So
But it's
Scrapskin
not,
Drake
you know.
is a card that a lot of people are down on. I'm up on it. I'm going to go ahead and take it out. But the ability to block is more important here than normal. All right, so I think I'm taking Cleric of the Fort over
That's
that.
probably good. Yeah.
Just 2 drops in the set. 2 drops have never been better.
This guy's okay.
This guy's going over that guy. So these are the 2 cards we have here. All right.
1/1. Oh, wow.
All
We
right.
were talking about this card for a little while.
I think it's still playable. Now, this is an interesting play.
I don't think I would take Evolutionary Leap for a draft or sealed. So
It is playable. It turns all of your opponent's removal spells into draw card. It turns all of your bad guys into better guys. It turns all your early land drops into better stuff there
you can
too.
learn how to play the game, Daniel.
I think I'm not taking the Skyraker Giant just because it's not as good here. To me, it's between these two, and I'm probably taking the Evolutionary Leap. And the reason is, Cleric of the Fort Order will go in your white deck. It will do a good job. It will wait on those 3 until we look through them.
Oh, okay.
Until we finish the sealed pool, and then we'll look at those 3, talk about that for a second. The thing about Evolutionary Leap is it's either going to be great in your deck or not make the cut in your deck. But the ceiling on it is very, very high, even if the floor is very low. So let's say that the deck doesn't come together. Guess what you lost? A 2-drop, which you probably already dropped in a bunch of. But let's say the deck works. Let's say you have the Elvish Mystics, etc., etc. Then this card's really coming together for it, right? It's sort of that high risk, high reward. But when you're taking over such a small card, if I would take the Gear per Gearcrafter over it, I would take a lot of cards with more consistency. I don't think Cleric of the Forward Order is anything more than a solid role player. It's you know.
I mean, it is a common. You're probably going to see a few of them.
Yeah, so. Gear per Gearcrafter is a common too.
That's true.
I'm not taking that card over everything. We didn't see any red removal.
It's a good point.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and set these up by rarity, or sorry, by color.
That could take a little while.
And Brad's going to help me.
It's way funnier.
We're going to actually, off camera, kind of, sort of. I will. I'm going to set it aside. We're going to set aside the not playable cards. The not playable cards are going to go in a pile. If you think something's not playable, like these cards, just set in a pile to the side.
Oh, okay.
So just set out the playable
makes it
cards.
Way easier.
Yeah. And I'll do this for you guys. I can actually do this upside down. Because I'm talented and skilled.
He's both talented and skilled.
I think that
unfortunately, ladies, he's not single.
So Shadow of the Past is a card that shines in Sealed. I think it's more powerful in Sealed than in Draft. So it's the kind of card that you're going to put in your Sealed pool that you may not put in your Draft pod. All right. I'd rather not play Heavy Infantry if I could avoid it. And some cards do get downgraded from draftable to non-draftable. This is still a fairly aggressive format. So in a lot of formats, aggro is not playable in Sealed. This is not the case for this set. You can still play fairly aggressive cards. You can't play the all one-drop deck that exists in drafts, but you can play a deck full of 2 and 3s and expect to be fairly successful. And also cards like Brawler's Plate go up slightly. I still would rather not play it. So, all right, whoop, whoop. All right, I don't mind playing a 1 of Negate in Sealed as well, just because of the power level of Negate.
What do you think about Bonded Construct?
I think it's playable in Draft, and I'm not going to play it in Sealed. The blue cards, the green cards, the white cards.
The really expensive green cards.
Which are both fine.
And then I think this is playable if you're in those colors.
Yes.
And then black and red.
Wow. Okay. So we have a lot of different options here. Now this is the junk. We're not going with the junk. The junk is junk.
Yeah, there's a big pile of junk over here.
Some stuff like Aerial Volley we're excited to bring in when we can bring it in. Remember also in Sealed, sometimes your deck will change. Let's say that we have primarily a black-white deck, and we play somebody where Aerial Volleys would be really good. We might sub out a color to bring in 2 or 3 Aerial Volleys if they're Thopters, right? Maybe. Now, the color I remember shining the most was blue, so we're going to look at our blue first, and then we're going to find a support color for it. Blue also happens just to have the most amount of cards. So we know we're playing Hangerback Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're looking.
Why wouldn't you play it?
So we're going to set this up by creatures and cost. Hangerback Walker is a 2-drop. All right, this is our 3-drop spell that we're going to play later. Brad is looking at other packs because he's...
Oh, I'm just opening them so that we can quickly go through them. I'm not actually going to look.
Oh, he's going to keep the surprise. All right, Mizian Meddler is a nice 3-drop. We got a nice 5-drop. An aggressive 3-drop. Not sure how I like the Drake or not, but it gets through. Negate. A second Jessian Thief. So we are definitely in blue. So this is kind of a best of blue. Sigiled Starfish is the best 2-drop in blue. Jessian Thief is the best 3-drop in blue. Warlord Rogue is maybe the best 4-drop in the set, outside of Mythics.
I'd be agreed to that one.
And Separatist Void Mage is an extremely good blue card. So
actually, the other Languish is a 4-drop. So
oh, sorry,
it's not a 4-drop creature as you implied. However, it is a 4.
Okay, well the rares that kill everything else are slightly better. But this is a nice tempo shell, so I'm actually looking for something kind of aggressive, like sticking a Jessian Thief or a Strapscreen Drake, and then following up with Separatist Void Mages or Warlord Rogues really does let you draw a lot of cards. That's an unusually aggressive. Let's look at white, the more powerful one. We've got 2-drops. We don't have enough. We have 1 piece of removal and 2 very good 2-drops, but it's just not what we want to make.
That's sad, yeah.
Because we've got
one of them double white.
7, yep. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. With 15 cards, you don't need that many. So we could play a shallow color. If there were a couple more Topin free plays, I would consider it. All right, red. Now see here,
also very shallow.
It is, but it gets us to 20, which is not quite there. If we just had 1 more, 2 more, This is the kind of card I want to play. It is double red, so it's a little tricky, but the prowess triggers help. Gearcrafter is excellent. Prickle Boar is the kind of oomph near the top end that's nice, but I'd like more 2-drops. Let your Jessian Thief get through. So let's head over to black. Removal's always a premium. Eye Blight and Siphon helps fill up the 3s and helps get rid of the other opponent's 2-1s. So that's the kind of card I can see myself getting behind. Consecrated by Blood. Normally wouldn't be too exciting, but with these Jessian Thieves, they become 3 5s. And they, in fact, become 4 6s the turn they come out. The regeneration ability isn't too terribly great, but Jessian the Thief is the kind of card that I want to regenerate. So I would consider that playable. Resoul is excellent. Priest of the Blood Right, very strong. Not sure I play the second Consecrated by Blood, but the first one does look attractive. Against opponents that lack removal, I could bring in another one. Flashbag Marauder is good with the kind of tokens with this, with the Screeching Scrabs, with the Separatist Void Mage, so it's playable. And Shadows of the Past is alright, but not particularly great. It's probably a card I'm sideboarding in because we're not getting that many cards in the graveyard. If we had a couple more things like Screeching Scab, it would be considerable. So let's look at green. I will say that black does look like the natural fit so far. Guy's Revenge, I could play it, but I'm actually not too particularly impressed in this build because it doesn't tend to go that long.
And not to mention, look at your drops right now and then 7.
Yeah. The Gorger's fine. It can be a top end. It's not exciting, but it's good. It'll buy you time if you need it. The Naturalist is the first card I'm excited to see. The Alpha is very good, too. It makes it very hard for your opponent to break. With Prowess, they can get bigger, and they'll definitely get bigger. So imagine a situation where they block your Jessian Thief with a 3-3. Well, now yours is a 2-4, and then if you have any abilities, it becomes a 3-5. That's pretty terrifying. And being able to give trample to these prowess cards that can't draw you cards is also nice. The Warden is fine. You don't have any other renown cards, but you don't need any other renown cards. Can also help hold the floor. Leaf Gilder lets you pull it out a turn 2 Whirler Rogue on rare occasion, but more importantly, it's another 2-1.
It's 2 mana.
Or sorry, turn 3.
Yeah.
The Spirit's fine. More cards they have to block with flying. Llanowar Empath lets you get to a lot of your good creatures. The Recluse doesn't really shine here. Evolutionary Leap is moderately nice in that you can recycle a lot of these cards with one-time uses. Your Mizian Meddler.
Well, also, you have one of the best cards with it.
Yeah. Right. So I think we're actually just black. I think we're
Seems
solid.
like it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so I'm going to set Negate to the side.
Yeah, I think Negate is on the chopping block.
Yep, I think I'm going to start with the Fleshbag Marauder in the main board with the amount of creatures I'm happy to get rid of. A second good 5-drop. A second good spell. The first Consecrated by Blood to go with both of my Jessian Thieves is something that I'm happy with, but still on the cutting block. All right, we have this really nice heavy removal deck. We've got 1, 2, 3 real removal spells, a Disperse, 2 bounce spells, and a Fleshbag Marauder. That's a solid amount of removal for Blue Buckler.
Let's see. I'm counting a few fewer cards than what we need, though.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we need 3 more cards.
Ooh.
It's okay.
So we do have Rabid Bloodsuckers, but those are not
That's not terrible.
good.
We do have a lot of 5-drops.
Now, what about the...
I'm not keen on this. It's usually just a 2-2 for 2.
So we've got that.
I'm still closer to playing the Negate. Being able to negate my opponent's removal spells is nice. Being able to protect something like a Jessian Thief. I don't mind playing the first Shadows of the Past. It's not always going to shine, but that scry can matter some. Now, the thing I'm worried about is I'd really rather not play a second Consecrated by Blood.
That's true.
So we would look for a blue or black card. Now, the Alchemist Vial, I'd go back to the Vial. Or the Sigil, actually. So Sigil of the Valor is actually probably a go with here. And I'm not usually impressed with this card, but with 2 must-block Thieves, a flyer that they can't get through, and that's just at my 3s, right? They've got all these cards they have to get through. I've got all these high toughness cards that can stay back. I can make it blockable. I can make it have flying. There's a lot of evasion to go with this card. This card has a lot of issues. Your opponent can blow you out with it, but it also lets you know, turn things like your Hangerback Walker into a super legitimate threat. So I think I'm playing the Sigil of Valor. So I think we're at a high amount of non-creature spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 non-creature spells. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Low end of creature spells, but it's not back-breaking. Still, overall, this is a fairly aggressive, tempo-oriented sealed pool, which I'm not unhappy to play, but it's not the bomb play.
No.
The nice part is those Jessian Thieves and Separatist Void Mage and Warlord Rogues will win a lot against for your opponent gets to play the bombs. This is the kind of one where your opponent has the big, giant deck, and this is what they don't want to see.
That's true.
You know, you play your 7-mana spell, it dies, or bounces, or whatever. Anyway, let's just pull all these cards in, and we're going to finish up these last 3 and call it the day. Yeah.
Here, let me.
Yeah. There we go. Mobius pick more Thopters. Did we say more Thopters?
Nope.
How did we say more Thopters?
I don't know, man.
I'm so confused.
That's weird.
That's us,
Just
right?
keep going, man.
I'm confused.
Just
All right.
keep going.
Chandra's Fury, not playable. Charging Griffin. I'm okay with this as my first pick so far. Elvish Visionary is replacing that. I think it's strictly better. Suppression Bonds is actually replacing Elvish Visionary and will replace any other commons, to my knowledge. I don't think I take any commons over Suppression Bonds, including Topin Freeblade. I think Topin Freeblade is less versatile enough that I'm not going to take it over the Suppression Bonds. Would you agree with that? Would you take Suppression Bonds or Topin Freeblade? Pick one, pack one.
Probably Suppression Bonds.
Somberwood Alpha, close but not quite there. Avaricious Dragon. So here we are. Avaricious Dragon or Suppression Bonds. The high risk, high reward, 4/4 flying, draw an extra card, lose your entire hand card versus a solid piece of removal. Where are you at, Brad?
Man, that is a hard pack one, pick one. Because. I think I would go ahead and go for the Dragon, though. You might could build a deck around it. And the Suppression Bonds probably will not table. But if you get the Dragon online, you will have a strong pool to go with it. So.
I think I'm going with the Suppression Bonds. If we had a slightly worse card, pack one, pick one. Like, I would take... I might take Topin Freeblade, I'm not sure. Suppression Bonds goes in so many decks. It goes in your aggressive deck, it goes in your controlling deck, it goes in the deck splashing white. Whereas Avaricious Dragon really does only want to go in the very attack-oriented red deck with a lot of stuff. I said it's going to be better when you play it. Alright, we keep talking. Apparently, somebody is speaking for the Mobius picks.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that.
I don't know, but I'm excited about a Crowan Sergeant. This is the kind of card that I'm happy to start with. 2/2 for 3 with First Strike and Renown 1 will really get the job done often. Elvish Visionary is a card you can consider putting up against this. I think that they're very comparable. They do very different roles. However, Lightning Javelin is going to knock these both out of contention. Shambling Ghoul is another black card that I'm looking happy for. But the Javelin's above that. The Javelin's still better than the Separatist Void Mage. If blue was better, Void Mage could be in the conversation, but blue is not a strong enough color to really sway me there. Gather the pack. Console of the Foundries is the kind of card I'm super excited to get late when I'm close there. Giving you 2/1/1 bodies is excellent. If we had a weaker pack, I could see taking it, and there's no color commitment, and you're always going to play it. But this early, it's not that big of a deal. Demonic Pact. Wow, that's really not playable at all, is it, Brad? A shiny Aven Battle Priest. And that's it. Is that the last pack?
Nope, there's one more.
The final pack. I will say, out of all these packs, I still think Hangerback Walker is probably the best card.
Yep.
The Imp is an excellent start. I am happy to start with the Imp. It's one of the better black cards to take overall. It's arguable whether you'd rather have multiple Imps or heavy, expensive removal spells in the deck, like Unholy Hungers. I will take a Gearcrafter over an Imp, even though the Imp is very powerful. It's in the conversation of which one you would pick. I think the Gearcrafter having multiple bodies is better. Patron of the Valiant, however, creates another interesting situation, and Languish gets rid of that interesting situation. So, the quick pick is Languish. We'll take that off the table, because it's not interesting.
Yep.
This is the
Unless
interesting
you
pick.
actually draw it.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so Fetid Imp, Gearcrafter, Crafter, Patron of the Valiant. I think that I'm definitely not on the Imp. I think I'm on the Gearcrafter or the Patron. And I don't think the double white really changes my opinion that much. I want to play the Gearcrafter early. I need a decent amount of red. So neither of these are particularly splashable. Both of them are very powerful. I think I'm leaning towards the Gearcrafter slightly, just because I like earlier plays.
Yeah, I believe you're right on that one.
But it's close. So, yeah. That's it for those.
That was fun. So, out of Origins...
giant!
Out of Origins, there was a random uncommon that's red. It says it's an enchantment for 2 and 1 red, and it says
Well, we're giant still.
it says tap 2 artifacts and do 1 damage to target creature or player, I believe, and it's getting played in Affinity.
Oh, the gear for whatever thing. It's terrible in limited.
Yeah, it's terrible and limited. However,
Why are they playing? Are they playing as a sideboard? What?
Yeah, they're playing it in the sideboard, and I think they're playing it because a lot of people are. Well, no, it probably wouldn't help you in the mirror, unless it does do damage to creatures.
It lets you play through Stony Silence.
Lets you play through Stony Silence is what I was going to say. So
pew, pew, pew. That's exciting.
that is something I'm actually going to try this Friday if I can find some. I don't own any, obviously.
I might have one.
So it's just an uncommon, so it should be easily attainable.
Yeah, you only need 1.
2 is what they were playing.
Sure.
I'm gonna have to run the numbers.
I mean, especially if it's a slow deck, if you have the time to get to it, you're always going to be able to just... you just drop it. If they don't counter it, you shoot them for the amount of team.
So, against Stony Silence, unless they play Stony Silence on the second and third turn, they're probably going to die anyway. So...
I mean, there are decks that kind of slow you down or something. I'm trying to think.
Not really.
Decks that might bring in Stony Silences and board wipes, etc., that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, most every deck that's running Stony Silence is running board wipes that I've encountered. I guess they could be in the whatchamacallit deck. What do they call it? Soul Sisters?
Yeah,
Stony Silence.
Sure.
Stony Silence is not going to win them the game, though, is the problem.
Why?
Well, so they have to win the game by massing a bunch of things on the board and then killing you with their 6/6 flyers that they make.
Yeah.
So, Stony Silence is just going to slow you down. So this will negate that.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, Stony Silence is probably not what I would play. I'd play Kentucky's War Wage in their deck.
In that deck specifically, yeah.
Because you could put it into play for free with the...
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's not in that deck.
Aether Violet. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it attacks. That's an aggressive deck. Kentucky's War Wage is an easier to remove threat, but it kills you. It doesn't kill you, though. That's what I don't like about Kentucky's War Wage. You can't actually attack with it into...
It's a creature?
I know, but, like, let's say I play Kentucky's War Wage. You're going to pay for some of your artifacts, right? Okay, well, now I can't attack with my 2/1, right?
Well, it really depends because a lot of the times I'm paying to keep my mana. Like, I'm literally tapping my mana to pay for my mana.
Yeah, but if you...
And it can wreck you on the second turn.
It can.
So...
I mean, it can. There is that upside, but it's like...
And here's the thing. Stony Silence turns off everything. It turns off a lot of my mana, in fact. But if I put it out before turn 2, it may still kill you before.
It's true. You can still attack. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, so
Sometimes
I think
you're
Kentucky is better for them to play. But this is an excellent sideboard card. I'm going to try it. So.
Yeah, because you can still play your big artifact. The Master of Ethereum comes to mind specifically. But a lot of your other cards are just like 1/1s and 0/1s if you can't put equipment on them or modular
you
them.
can't do anything with it. You can't even tap most of your lands.
Yeah.
Or not. Most of your things that produce mana, which are not lands. And Darkstealing it.
Yep, it is an interesting card.
So.
I think it's more of a flash in the pan. I don't think it'll normally be in sideboards that often.
Kentucky or...
The gear per Aether Grid.
Oh, so I don't really know. It depends on how good it is in other matchups. If it can hit creatures as well,
It can.
then it's probably good in the mirror match, which is something that you're really liking.
It's true.
So,
Yeah.
like right now, I'm playing like 3 of the Destroy Artifact Flashback Ancient Grudges, and I'm playing them for the mirror match. So I would replace one of those probably.
You could probably replace 2, really.
Yeah, I don't think so. The mirror match is so hard to win.
Right. But if you can tap all of your artifacts, including your lands, to kill all of their
You have to
creatures.
draw it. That's why I want 2 and 2 and probably something
Oh,
else.
well, I thought you were just going to replace the Ancient Grudges with...
No. Actually, I'm currently playing the card from Origins that lets you drop to 7 and stuff and end your turn.
Days Undoing.
I think it's useless. I tried it.
I
never
say,
sideboarded in.
So there was a Affinity deck that I saw with that same thing, it was running the Disciple of the Vault, and it was running a slightly different one to really optimize the drawing the more cards and playing more things. So it was a different version than yours. It was a little bit more all in and a little bit kind of skewed version. It wasn't as attack oriented all the time. It had the second one.
It had the Disciple of the Vault.
That said, when they finished playing it, they said that overall they felt like this version was less consistent and the explosiveness
Wasn't worth it.
Wasn't worth it overall. So.
Well, you're already pretty explosive with Affinity, so I imagine that was the case. Yeah. Like, I can probably confirm that without playing.
All right, guys. We'll be heading out. We hopefully will be getting more stuff set up. We're still finishing the setup at my place to have more games going on. Me and Brad are going to try to run a stream of either Hearthstone of a new deck or some Magic. They have the heads-up queues now, so we'll be trying those.
Also, some Heroes of the Storm eventually.
Hopefully, we'll get a Heroes of the Storm set up. We'll have to figure out how we're going to hear that so you guys don't have to hear too much chatter or what.
Well, so if they want to hear us talking, we could do it right now, because I would just stream my video and all of our audio through Skype.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a problem. I don't know how fun that would be for everybody.
That's
I don't
what
know
we're
what other people do for Heroes of the Storm, so I'm going to do some research before we do it.
But yeah, we're looking to add more games and more content from my house so that we can have more content in general, and then hopefully
Because I'm out
Heroes
of
of the
town
Storm.
so much.
It's true, and then if we're doing Heroes of the Storm and you guys enjoy that, you know, it's enjoying to watch Brad kill people
Die.
and lose and die.
Play as Diablo and pull people over the wall.
Then,
That happens a lot.
you know, Brad plays Heroes of the Storm daily-ish.
Pretty often.
Yeah, so we can hopefully get more stuff going. All that stuff might get thrown up to YouTube because some of it might be a little bit...
Vulgar. I'm probably going to swear a lot while I play. I'll try not to. We may have to set some controls differently.
We'll just tape his mouth shut. It'll be perfect.
It would be quite funny because I'll stay on the camera.
That's right. You can just see the tape moving and anger in his eyes.
We
have to worry more about
Daniel.
Ash.
And then Daniel can actually translate for me, and Ash will actually.
Ash has some
She
serious
swears
rage.
way more than. If we're winning, no swearing whatsoever. If we are losing, quite a lot of swearing. I think pug groups will be more fun than anything because Ash swears so much. Actually.